start and today's agenda. So yeah, today's agendas I wanted to explain you. This is the today's agenda. What I need to explain: record and playback, and types of the recording modes. How many types of recording modes? And there's one of the feature which is provided by the our UFT, that is object repositories. We have to in the object repository we can add and edit, and we can delete the objects and all those things. And we have the test objects and the runtime objects we have, and types of object properties we have there, and the object identification mechanism, how the object will be identify the mechanism. So but as of now, this class I wanted to explain that record and playback, and how the types, what are the types of recording modes we have in UFT, and what is the benefits of recording and playback. I need to be explained in this class. And afterwards I am going to be explained that VB scripting, because I am already told that VB scripting is a very English, like it is a very easy language. It's a like object based language. So first of all we need to be understand what is the object. So because everything will be here in a UFT according to the objects only. So we have to understand all the things. First of all, what is the objects, and what's the how the what is the class. So how it will be behave, and how we can do all those things by using this using this by VBScript only. So so by VBScript only we have to do all the things. So first I wanted to show that how UFT will be visible to us. Okay, so let's say I have to open our UFT. Then first of all I'm going to open that UFT. Let's go with the things. Yeah. Just I wanted to recap what I said on the record and playback. Record and playback is just like what are the operations we have to perform on the application. We want those will be recording, and again, if you want to playback, whenever we can, you can playback. So it's just like is a first impression of the tool, that whether if you record and playback just mainly useful for the like. If you wanted to repeat the same test, what are the operations you have to perform, you can use it to record. So for the record and playback, there's programming knowledge is not needed, anything is not needed. Just we need to be know the features, how it will be works and all those things. So by and record and playback is much is useful for the like whether the technology is supporting or not. Initially, whether we have to find out whether the feasible analysis of those things, so we can use it for the those things. It's just like it's a primary investigation method for if UFT can support that technology or application, because when you're recording those things, that objects will be recognized. So according their add-ins, once you have to add those add-ins, the objects will be recognized. See, I'm saying the objects means like in application, what are the, if you see the application, there is a username, password, and button is there. Those are all called as objects. So that's what I call as objects. Okay. So I will tell you what is object and all those things in the class. Okay. But as of now, just you can listen that what is the object. Okay. So so in this the object like a username, password, button, these are all called objects, and there's a window that is also one object. Okay, so that web is also object. So we all treat because the VB script will take everything as an object, so it's like object based along is supported by our VB script. So by using this playback is a primary initiation of the method to that UFT can support the technology or the application. We can find out on all those things. It is and we can create a basic functionality of the application of feature that does not require long maintenance. If you have some maintenance, if there while you are doing some testing, there's some functionality is not doing any maintenance will not be coming to future, then it will do some of the basic functionality by using this record and playback. Well, we can record the playback by mouse operations and keyboard operations also. So we have to do different ways. I have to screenshot what I am showing. Here there is a step one. We have to take these things, and we have to select the GUI test. I will also shown in our I will open the QTP. Just I'm showing that the steps how we can do, so we can easily open this document and how we can do the record and all those things. So this is the we have to go to record, and we have to do some settings before we are going for the record and settings. Record and run. There is a dialog open. So in that one it will be there, so we can do all those things. Then afterwards, once you have to record, and the code will be displayed in this way. Then this is the run button. We can make it run. So once it will be run, the report will be whatever we have recorded the things. The report will be coming to here, whether pass and fail and all those things. So here there's a different modes of recording we have to do. Like normal recording, of course, we can by default we can record and all those things and operations. What are the operations you wanted to perform? For example, login, username, password, click. So we can record and we can do it. And log operations means is supporting the recording for our mouse and keyboard operations. And low level recording means it will be record what are the operations according to the coordinates, according to the windows. So there's the windows according what are the coordinates are there. According to the coordinates will be record the low level recording. So let's see how the recording will be done. I will show you. I will show to you. Um, I'm opening our UFT. Then yeah, I'm opening. This is our UFT. The 14 UFT 14. I'm using that license version, that trial version. So I'm told that there's some add-ins are needed in our last session. There's some add-ins we have required. Without add-ins, we that what are the objects? It will not be recognized. The technology will not be supported. So if I'm doing the web application, so that's what we have to select this add-in web. If you go for the Java, we have to select for the Java from our add-in manager. If you go for the something like mobile application, all those things we got to. If you have application like Visual Basic, then we have to select those add-ins. So this is the main thing we need to be do before doing that automation, automate to start on the UFT. So add-in is the main thing. So what is the add-in means? Add-in is some technology that is supported by the our UFT, so it will be recognize the objects, what are the objects we have there, whether it is according to the application, whether it is web application, the web application objects will be recognized. If it is a Java objects, the Java objects will be recognized. So if it is a mainframe, then mainframe objects will be applied. If SAP add-in we have to need it. So add-ins must need to be added. So without this, we can't that objects will not be recognized by means the technology will not be supported. That UFT will not be supported that objects. So we have to keep in mind when you are starting that our automation, we have to check what are according to the application, what are the what application you wanted to do in the testing. We have to check those add-ins. Then only the technology will be supported. Okay, I'm using that web, so that's what I'm clicking this web. Okay, it's opening our UFT. Yes, it is open. So if you have to directly click this new, you can open our new test, or otherwise if you go file and you have to create and test, you can create this one new test. So which one you can we can do it. So just I'm clicking this new. We are doing that to GUI testing. I am only told that that UFT is a combination like GUI testing with like GUI testing, function testing, whatever it may be, with API testing. So I'm selecting that API test for the I'm doing the GUI test for that one. We have to do the select GUI test. If you have the API test, you have to go for the select this API test. So depend upon that, we have to select and the BPT business process test. If it is, then you have to select BPT. So BPT, I think you know, right? Like according to the business processes, we have to test our process. So for example, there's a business process some like everything we have to create according to the end-to-end scenarios. Some people will, some organizations they have following that we have to test according to the scenario wise. For example, like I wanted to book some flight. This is some business. Okay, so I have to log in and again have to create some functionality I need to be do for the booking of finding the flight and book a flight and pay the amount and have to click. So everything we have to take in as a component in the business processes. So according to the business, so we have to combine all the components into one thing, and it's a one process as a business process. So this is like a business process we have to do in our organizations for the testing. So now I wanted to test for our GUI testing. Like any web application I have to open and do and now do our testing. Okay, so let's start with this GUI testing and create this one first of all. Yeah. So in this there is an action. In this we have to whatever we have to do, we can do it. Here there is a file. I am already told in the last class we can do the settings file settings and for the properties here. If you want to modify, once you can log in, you can modify the tunes for the add-ins. If you not needed these add-ins, you can modify those things and we can do and we can do the run settings. It will be useful for us whether the test to how many iterations we need to be done it or we can do for those things. In the resources we can there's a function libraries because when you are doing according to the framework because every what are the automation we have to use in not only this UFT, we have to develop some automation framework. So according to the framework, we have some resources like function libraries, object repository files. We have to, so we are keeping all those things in the these resources. So what is the framework and all those things I have to, I will go in classes, I will tell you. So just like we can keep it like that. because every organization we have following some frameworks. Framework is nothing like some guidelines we have to follow in this one. But it's not a rule. It's not a rule. Just a guidelines. We have to follow in this way. We have to go ahead. It is in a particular, organized way. So if in future, if we have anything, maintenance will become. It will be very easy to us if you follow a good framework. So the framework we have to do according to the application. So what are the application we have to do according to the requirements? We have to select the frameworks. We have the different frameworks, so we can do and all those things that we have to explain in the going classes. Okay, so according there we have to some resources we have to give some function libraries, which is the reusable code, which will be once we have to write those code, we have to keep in that we files in this one. And here there's the environment variables we have there. So we have to keep that we have the built-in variables or and user-defined variables. We can define our own variables. So what is the environment variables? Like generally, whether not on the UFT, like in our computer system, the people who are using that they know that what environment variables and all this environment variable like that what are the variable we have to take in, those things will be globally at, so it will be useful for all the test whatever we are doing the testing, it will be acting as a globally. So I know so I have to use it in all our tests what are I'm doing the test. If I this is the GA one test I'm opening, GA test 17 is the one test we have to I opened the GA test 18, that all that environment also variable we can do it. So there's a different built-in environment variables are there, so we can use it in our coding. But these things we need to be how do we can and all those things. And the recovery scenarios I will explain. That is a exception handle, we can do it and all those things. So these are the some settings we'll do it, but as of now it is not needed. Just I wanted to show you, I wanted to show you how we can do on all those settings. And here there's a tools. There's one more settings, that is these settings. What are the settings we have to do in our settings? These settings will be according to our test. So in if in maybe if in future if you wanted the same test will be run in the different systems, 1, 2, 3, 4 systems. We can run it those systems without changing any settings and all those things when you're doing all those things. But when coming to the tools, here there is options. Here there is some more settings are there. We can do some settings here when you are starting our automation and all those things. Here, this is a GUI testing. If you go for here, gender, there's a generally we can depend upon the test application. Just GUI testing, we have to do some settings here. GUI testing. If you have API testing, we have to do for API testing settings. According that what we are testing, those we can do it. So here there's a run setting, run session is there. You can see the reports. If you wanted to see the reports in HTML report, we can select that HTML report. And if the generally by default detail fusion, what I show in PPT, that if you in detailed way, if you wanted, we have to select this option. So in the if I wanted to run on other computers and all those things, you can allow this thing. This is the one option. And coming to this one here in GA testing, there's a test runs out there. If you select here and if you I wanted to run in the normal and fast mode, accordingly you can run it according to that one. So and our HP is providing some of the test management tool is providing like ALM. If I wanted to run from ALM, I wanted to do the some palette testing according to the then if you then it also needed ALM. So how it will be ALM will support in and all those things. So you have to running, you have to check this hello other API HPE ports to run and test the components. If you cannot allow this option, if you cannot check this thing, then it will not know what are the ALM. If you wanted to do running and all those things from our test lab, it will not be supported, because I think like ALM is some test management tool. We can design in a test plan and all those what are test cases and all those things, and we can issue from our test lab. This is some management tool, which is, and we can get the reports and everything, and we can log the defects in the test management tool itself. So the high management people will easily understand where we have to do and all those things, where we are there. And for us, which is just we have to keep all those and active strings also. And string captures when you are doing the execution. If you have some errors will become, we can capture those strings and save in our folders, so we can easily understand according to the screen what is the failing, where is fail and all those things. So in the Windows application, like we cannot do all those things because it is not needed. Depend upon the situation, if needed, we can go and do changes, but already everything will be defined itself. Check everything. So just to, if you like some settings, like if you want like the normal and fast, that like that, and these check-ins like allow the other application, if you wanted to execute execute from our test from the test lab, then we can check this option. So in this way, this will be once we have to do it one time of effort. So if you go for the other system, the same test I wanted to run on other system, then we can make it again. You can do open the tools and the settings, and you can do it. Then until then, it will not be checked. The what are the changes we have to, then this will not be affected to the other system. But here in the file settings, that will be automatically affected. But here the tools, it will not be affected to the other systems. Whatever the other systems will be supported to us. Okay, so this is the some settings we have to do when we are starting our automation, and this is a test pane. In this one, we have to do our coding. So we can design our code according to the operations we have to performing. And this is a data table. There's a showing at down. We have the two sheets. This is a global and action. In the global, we have to give the data. What are the data are there globally? It will be, so of course for every operations, we have to give some test data. Data is nothing like test data, which is data useful for our testing. Of course, we know like retesting. Retesting is nothing but we have to give in that different test data, and we have to perform the operation. So that we have to, retesting is nothing but different test data of the same functionalities. We have same functionality by giving different test data. That is called as retesting. We can do it under all those things. There's a parameterization. We can do it by using this data table. So we can get the data by using in a different ways. In a SQL sheet, we can make it in our C4. We can keep anywhere, and from SQL sheet we have given some data. We can import it from SQL sheet into the our in the data tables like global and action. The global data sheet is a data table which is useful for the all the it acts as a like a global, so it will be useful for the, all our tests. And action, this is the sheet which is utilized for this test only, for not all. Okay, so this is the one thing. And this is the active stream. What are the streams we have to do? And this is related to watch and others. This will be useful for our debugging purpose and all those things. So in this way, it is a I'm explaining that IDE. So how our IDE will be visible to us and how user friendly our UFT. So Because if you compare to the Selenium, there's some ID is not there, so we have to again you have to download the Eclipse and we have to do those ID. But here is already we have to everything is provided, so we can easily automate code or requirements, operations, and all those things when compared to the Selenium. So here there is a different menus we have there. So we have different features that is provided by our UFT. So we can explore all those things one by one. So it will be understand easily. So as of now, I wanted to uh, what I'm saying now today is that how we can do the record and playback. Then afterwards, I will let you know that the settings will be scripting. Then afterwards, I'm going to start with what is object, how what is the objects and how the objects will be utilized in our scripting and so how we can store the objects in our object repository. This is one of the feature which is provided by our UFT. So if you click here record, I already was shown to you. There is a record in settings. So if you go in before when you going to start with recording, record in settings. If it is a web application, we have to. There's a two options. There's a one is record and run on any open browser. If you have browser is open, we can record. I wanted to open a specific browser. We can give all those things parameters here. Then automatically it will be recorded and we can do it. Okay. So these checkpoints and everything will by default it will be there. If you want it, you can do it. Otherwise, you can check it. Okay. If the Windows application, we can do it that you can select these things options and that Windows applications will be recorded. So I'm taking that this web application as of now. So because this is GUI testing I'm doing that. So let's record some one of the thing I'm opening that Google. So let's see how it will be opening our Google. Um, okay. So that's what I'm giving the google.com. Okay, I'm clicking. Just I wanted to running this one. So just to give this run, or otherwise if you give the F5, this will be run all those things. So it is not. This is for the running the once you can recording and all those things. This we have to click run and we have to do running by using this F5. So now I wanted to start with F6. That is the we can click this so we can will be recorded. Click here and already I'm given that Google. So the URL. So it is open. So I given some like so I given here is like testing. Okay. So I'm stopping this one. Just I wanted to show you. So what I given here is a setting, test setting. So in this way, the code will be visible to us. Browser. This is a browser. What is a? This is a browser, Google browser, and this is a page, Google. And here we can call as the web edit. This is web edit. This object is recognized as a web edit. So for every web application, we can as a web edit, web button. We call this is as a web button. This is the web edit. So objects will be recognizing in this way. This is object spy. By using this object spy, we can identify our objects, how the objects is there. So if you click here, See, this is the web editor. So this is a web application. According to this web application, so web edit. If it is Java, then it's showing as a Java edit. So according to technology, it will be the name of the class. We had different. So this is a class web edit. So if you see here, this is a web button. So this is a web buttons. So in this way that we can do by using that by using this object spray, the objects will be identified. So now we can keep in mind this is just like this as recognized as a web edit. So in this web edit, this is the name they have given. So every object they have some properties according that it will be taken. That web edit name, whatever we have to given, this is a web edit. This name is called as a search. So it is already predefined by developer. Developer has to design all those things. So just you can do it. And I given the set settings, so it will be. And whatever I had to record it, all those things will be there in our object repository. Those objects are there. This resources and click it object, and here there's an object repository is there, so we can do it. Okay, so so in this way it will be recorded. Just I giving a sample code how the recording will be done. So it will be good to us when you are doing all those easily understanding the things whatever we are doing. So just I click in this one. So whatever we have recorded, everything will be same way it will be works out. So I'm closing this thing, and again I have to click here and just click here. Then it's opening our Google. That's it. So what I did before back, just given the testing, the same thing will be happen. Here I given we can see the our reports whatever I given here setting, so it will be showing to us. So it will be showing to us whatever we have did. We are given the testing set, so we can easily understand the whole thing. This is we can see the results view. So once the execution is done, once we have to run the testing, we can how what are the values you are given, and we can easily identify if we have any problem. We can got it. We can rectify easily in our doing the things. We can see in this way results detail. We can check it here. In results will be in a very detailed way. It will be, and we can export this one. What are the results are there? We can export into those datas, and if you want to some data is there, we can collect those datas here. If you have any data have given in from data table, so it's a very customized report. It's a very report default report that UFT has supported. We can export if you want to export to the file. So it will be just like it's we can by using this default report, we can easily find out what we have run and what we did. And if you have any problems, if while you're doing the testing, we can easily find out oh, this is the thing where I have to find if error is came, and again you can run it. And by using this report, the management also will understand that it where it's some problems and all those things. So this is some default report which is provided by our UFT itself. But when you compare with Selenium, there is a by WebDriver's Selenium 2, there is no default report. Again, we have to do some test ng framework and all those things. Then again, we have to do some reporting purpose. We have to do all those things. So here there is the IDE. In the IDE itself, that that reporting is there. So it's a very easily the users will understand what we did and all those things. So that's what when you have is when you designing the time is a very when compared with the UF Selenium, it's a very faster. It will with less time to designing. So every features they have given to us. So just we can do all the recording and all those things. Just I wanted to show you. Just I opened the Google and given the testing set testing. So that's what I given. So in this way we can work out for our recording and playback. You can do what are the operations you can do it. You can open our operation, any operation. What are the just I opened the Google for a web operation I doing. So for that I'm doing. Okay. So yeah. So far you have anything need to be discussed, or if you have anything queries, let me know. So
Hi.
yeah.
The objects by not too it just identifies web edits and objects in the web page itself.
Yeah, itself. Yeah, exactly. Objectify is the only this is the one of the feature which is given by our UFT. By using this Objectify, we can identify the objects, whether web edit, whether web buttons, what is that they will be identified object. For example, in the generally whether we have to manage there, right? In that there is a name by using funny. By using some name, there is be identified. So according same thing, there's a one feature, there's a one tool like that we can say like by using that object by the object will be identified, whether it is web edit, whether it is a web button, whether it is what is there. So we can easily identify if it is identified as a then it's fine. We can store those things in our object repository. But in going classes, I will explain you what is the object spy and object what is the objects and all those things. But now I wanted to showing you that how the recording and playback how it will be works out.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, welcome. So anything else? Yeah. So I think there's nothing queries from like okay. So if you do the comments on all those things by using this apostrophe like that, we can do it by commenting. So we cannot. So when you run it, this will not be run this statement. We can comment or we can also uncomment those things. Okay, by using this thing, by using apostrophes. Okay, so just I wanted to comment in this one. Okay, so I want to come back again to back. Okay. Already we had a Google is there. Okay, so I'm already told that there is some recording modes we have there. So let's see the other modes which is but in generally if you say in organization if you real time this recording and playback is a very less we have to use it. The major when you have to use in the recording and playback is majorly for the just like I told that in our just for the initiation purpose only, just whether the objects are recognizing when you're starting our application. If the objects everything is working is fine, recognizing is fine, then you can go and start like in feasibility studies. Because I'm already told in our automation last session that automation the whole what is the flow, how we can start. We have to go for feasibility testing whether the application is supporting or not automation. We have to then afterwards we have to select our tool according to the technologies. Then after once you have to select the tool, then you have to give the POCs, build some framework. Then everything is fine. Then we can according to we can start design our framework. And according once you have to design the framework, then you can design our scripting. Then we can execute. Then that's the way, then there is the process we are following. Last session we had already told it the same thing. So for the feasibility tested and all those things for the purpose, we cannot write any code. Just you can record and playback. Okay, it's working fine. then application is supporting to our UFT, so you can go ahead and do it. So in that way we can do our just for the uh, initiation purpose or feasibility analysis, and we can do some basic functionalities which is not it not do any maintenance in the next versions. So for those things, is recording and playback, we have to use it. But generally, we have to write the coding by using our VB script longest. So that's the way we have to use it. Okay. So there's a other modes also there. Just I'm showing you. There's a one of the that is a normal recording, just like. And if you go for the other recordings, like have to click it here again. Just record in here. Here there's a we have different modes. There's a I told it analog, low level, and inside. Analog recording is a recording which is useful for the our mouse operations and keyboard operations. We have to use it for the low level recording. What are the operations we have to? Operations is nothing like operation is you have to like some perform some operations like clicking, submitting, entering. That's the operation. Okay, so some values are given, that is called as operations. Okay, so analog recording and low recording is supporting for the mouse operations. What are the mouse we can do in we can that recording will be recorded. And insight recording is a new feature. It is provided from the UFT 11. So and this insight recording is according to the image position. What are the images are there? So according that those images and all those things will be recorded. If you go for the data analytics, okay, for example, in that there's a data will be changes from today to tomorrow. Then at the time we wanted to record those images and all those things by using this insight recording. The images because the graph will become so for that purpose we can like it's a recording will be based on the image position, what according to the position image is there, so it will be done. Okay, let's start with I wanted to show you one or two record because it's much things. So if you go for the analog recording, click here and selecting here analog recording, and if you want to this scene and you can select this scene. I'm selecting the record related to the screen. So and start this one analog recording. So we have to go and open. Okay, I given the testing, same thing I'm doing. I click here and stop here. So here if you see, here, if you have the analog recording, the analog recording will be displayed as a track. So what are the operations we are given? The everything will be in the track one. So desktop dot run the analog. It will be by using this method. Desktop is a one object. So here there is as a one object. So it will be run on a here dot analog and track one. So in this way the code will be visible. So we cannot that what we have like before back we have seen this browser page web edit dot set. In that way we cannot visible this one. This is according to analog. So it will a name as given as track one. So it given as a recording all those things. So it will mainly useful for the like mouse operations and record like keyword operations. What are the for the purpose we can use it those things. If you can do it, run it. You can run on all those things. Just to open that Google. Yeah. See, there's a different trace. Okay. So in this way, why it is happen means if you open this record, then only it will be happen this record and open. So it is according to our mouse operations, what are the mouse operations we are doing. So it will do all those things by using this mouse operations. So at the same time we have to do other recording. If you go for the recording here, just I'm showing that how the those recording will be displaying to us. This is a low recording. If you see here, you have to select this low recording, and I'm opening here. Just I wanted to give the testing, giving testing. I wanted to stop here. Okay. So see, I given the how the recording will be there. So it will be like I open that one, and again the dot type testing. So it will be, and I told that according to the coordinates, it will be recorded. So win object, Internet Explorer, click 26 and 27. So here there's a these operations we have to not to use it, because the thing is if the screen, if you wanted to minimize the and all those things, then it will not be work out. So according to the coordinates it will be recorded 26. These are the coordinates 26, 27. So it will be done in this way. So these are, in this way we can do the recordings, and we can do but it will not be much useful when you are doing that our coding. So just we need to understand, if the programming non-programmer will need to be understand before you starting our automation, you need to be understand how the hierarchy will become. So this is the hierarchy you need to be understand: browser, page, and in that there is a web edit, there's the object is there. We can, in this way it will be identify the objects. So this is a one of the wonderful is a very wonderful feature which is given by our UFT. This is a basic understanding how our code will be generated, how the we can use the record, and again you can play back. So we can do the whole operations. We can record it, and again you can play back what are the operations we have performed. So in this way it will be work out. So that's the about that recording and playback. And tomorrow I need to be to explain the next class that VB scripting. So what is the VB scripting? How what and how the strongest will support it to start with designing our code, and what is the object, and how it will be classes. So it's first we need to be learn the VB script, then afterwards we can go with the other things like what according this this PPT, we object repositories, what is object repository, what is object, and all those things. Because I am explain this object and object repository is first of all we have to need to understand what is object. Then afterwards we can need to be understand all the features will easily. So, and its mechanism. So I wanted to explain all those things. So just I wanted to explain as of now. Today is the one of the feature that it will be recording and playback. It having the different three modes: the default mode, and analog mode, and low level remoding, and inside the recording. These are different modes we have there. So according to the our so in this way we can do for our recording and playback. um, so this is the one of the feature which is provided to us. Okay, so if you have any doubts, shoot a mail, if you have any queries, let me know. We can discuss recording the recording and playback, understand everything.
Thank you.
Okay, welcome. Okay, thanks a lot. Have a nice day. Thanks for the patience.